All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, last year, relief pitcher Devin Williams was having a dominant season with the Milwaukee Brewers. And, he didn't pitch the whole year, okay? He only pitched the second half of the year. He missed the first 3 months with a stress fracture in his back, but nonetheless, you're talking about a guy in 21 appearances last year for Milwaukee. He posted a 1.25 ERA with 38 strikeouts and 14 saves. As the bottom line is, Devin Williams was lights out. And honestly, for his 7 years, 6 years rather, with the Brewers, he was lights out as he had a career ERA there of 1.83. But then came game 3 of the wild card round last year against the New York Mets. And for Milwaukee, they were up 2-0 in the ninth inning with their best reliever on the mound. 2 outs and one strike away from facing the Phillies in the divisional round. But from there, we all know what happened because with one swing of the bat by Mets first baseman Pete Alonso, he took the air. You literally could hear the air go out of American Family Field last October on that fateful evening. And then from there, he hit that 3-run shot to make it 3-2 in favor of the Mets. Then, Milwaukee would, of course, unfortunately for their sake, go on to lose that series. And it's been totally different since then. I mean, we saw Pete Alonso had to wait around to the 11th hour, but he got a new deal, short-term deal with the New York Mets, and he's been balling right now. And on the flip side, we saw Williams get traded over the winter to the other New York team. I'm talking about the New York Yankees. Okay. And from there, the Yankees were expecting the Devin Williams of, what they had seen for the most part of his Milwaukee career, being that lights out guy. Unfortunately, that has not been the case so far. In 8 appearances this season for the Yankees, or pardon me, 10 appearances rather, Devin Williams has struggled. Okay, right now he has an ERA of 11.25. He gave up 3 runs on Friday night, and the Yankees lost to the Toronto Blue Jays. It was the second consecutive appearance for him that he has given up 3 runs. He just hasn't been the guy. You know what I'm saying? He really, he hasn't been as dominant, like I said, as the Yankees expected him to be. He hasn't been as dominant as he has been in the past. And for me, I've said this before, and it's something I will always stand by. Relief pitchers in baseball are like field goal kickers in the NFL. When these guys are on, they're on. And when they're off, they're off. And right now, unfortunately for Devin Williams, he just has not been the same guy, in my opinion, since he gave up that home run to Pete Alonso last year in the playoffs. And it's one of those right now. You can see the highest of highs from relievers, and you can see the lowest of lows. And that's where he is at right now. And we've seen this before in baseball with pitchers. The question for me is going to be how patient are the Yankees going to be with Devin Williams, or are they going to let him work through his struggles? I mean, Yankees manager Aaron Boone has already talked about possibly taking Williams out of that ninth inning slot, and I think it's bound to happen. Okay, and it's something. Unfortunately for Devin Williams, he's going to have to work through. If you're Milwaukee, of course, it looks like you got off of him at the right time. But at the end of the day, I still think it was a shrewd move by the Brewers because Williams is set up for to be a free agent after this season. And Milwaukee, one of the smaller markets in Major League Baseball, they really don't re-sign guys. So if you can get off of Devin Williams and get something back like the Brewers did, a la Nestor Cortez in that trade, you're going to go out there and do it. I think what's going to happen, Williams is going to have to come out of that closer role, I think, briefly. And, he's got to go out there and try to find his swagger. He's got to go back and find his confidence. And maybe it's a scenario clearly you can't do it like it did in the old days in Major League Baseball, where you know what, you could just have a guy pitch to one batter and just keep it moving. Now, with the new rules, with the pace of play, you've got to go out there and pitch to at least three batters before you can be substituted out of a game. So it's something that Devin Williams is going to have to work through. Um, I want to see. I'm going to be very interested to see how patient the Yankee fans are going to be with him as well, because you know the fans in New York can be very brutal when you're not producing, especially when you're brought into a team. Early season struggles. It's only April for the Yankees. And even with all of that, I know they had to rain out yesterday with Toronto. They're going to have the doubleheader today. But nonetheless, they're still in first place in the American League East, a very winnable American League East. And like I said before, it's still April as they look to navigate through this rocky road. At the end of the day, to me, I think the movement on Williams's fastball is not there like it was, last year and in years prior with Milwaukee. And at the end of the day, he's just got to find the confidence in those pitches again. That's the bottom line. So, like I said before, let's see how patient that the Yankees are going to be with their new reliever, and let's see if he can find a way to get over the hump and get back on track. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. It is always appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. And that also goes for Instagram, as you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. And also, if you're on Facebook, you can check us out at the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating platforms going on social media. But until next time, folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.